नरघट तक है तेरी कहानी पग पग प्यारे दंगल 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 सूरज तेरा चढ़ता ढलता गर्दिश में करते हैं तारे दंगल 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 दंगल.
Great morning, my dear friends. Bhupesh Anand this side. So today we'll be starting with a new reading, and that reading is reading number 8. And we are doing quantitative methods. We have covered time value of money. We have covered discounted cash flow applications. So today I will be starting with statistical applications and returns, and market returns. So the name of the reading is statistical relationships, statistical concepts. So I will be discussing with different types of statistical concepts as we have done, you must have done in college level, in graduation level. What is mean, what is median, what is mode, what are the different types of scales, what is descriptive statistics, what is inferential statistics, and all those different categories we will be dealing with. So please take out your registers. Quantitative method, basic concepts, statistical concepts, and market returns. So this is the name of the reading. So I will be going to start with, now there are 13 learning outcomes in this reading. There are in total 13 learning outcomes. Learning outcome A to learning outcome M, N or O. So we will be discussing all these, these all are very simple, very logical, because that will be helping us in common distribution, common probability distribution, in sampling, and in hypothesis testing. So the basic knowledge of this statistics should be very much clear to you, and how to use the stats function. We'll be discussing with second 8 the stat function, how we can calculate mean, median, standard deviation, parameter, and all that with the help of a calculator. Because if you develop these statistical skills apart from CFA level 1 also, in addition to that, so I think that it will be very much boon. It will be giving you a huge reward in coming future, because now the time is data analysis and data mining, and then using that data, that what WhatsApp is doing, what other people are doing. So that is the main point, in Facebook also. So the real importance is of data and how to use that data. So for a CFA analyst, for a user, that data is there, data is available, but how to take the use of that? What are the different parameters on this we can calculate? What is a median? What is a representation? What is a mode? What is mean? What is geometric mean? What is sequence? What is kurtosis? I should be aware of that, because if I am aware of that, I can easily use that data in my analysis part, in analyzing the financial statements, in giving the decisions, in taking the decisions. So this reading, I will say, is the most important reading for coming future. So please be attentive in this. So there are 13 learning outcomes. We'll be discussing with that. And tip of the day, quote of the class will be, there are different types of problems. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. No doubt, I know that you have to do so many study sessions, 18 study sessions, different readings in that, and different learning outcomes in that. But if I give you a real advice, if you do first time, it takes more time, but second revision, third revision is very, they are very quick. So it is only the first time when you have to spend some time, because it will be helping you throughout your life. So the quotation is, in the middle of the difficulty lies opportunity. In every difficulty there lies opportunity. So I am going to start with reading number 8. Please take out your registers, take out your calculators. Statistical concepts. So I will be dealing in this statistical concepts and how to calculate market returns. So please write down these learning outcomes I have written for you. Just copied from CFA level 1. But I may tell you that if you write down these learning outcomes, it will give you a great insight about the subject, about the reading which we are going to start with. For example, in learning outcome number A, we will be dealing with what are the different types of statistics. What is meant by descriptive statistics? What is the meaning of inferential statistics? What is the difference between a population and a sample? And what are the different types of scales involved in that? For example, there are 4 types of scales. We'll be discussing that. We'll be seeing in the Google Baba also, that ordinal scale, nominal scale, interval scale, ratio scale. So this basic understanding will be more clear if you write down these learning outcomes. Please write down learning outcome number A. distinguish between descriptive and inferential statistics, population and sample, types of measurement scales. Then, what is the difference between a parameter and a sample statistics? Parameter is a feature of a population. Now, there is a population. When I say population, we take into account all the members of that population, that data. For example, if I want to calculate the return of a company, return or the movement in the return in the stock market, and I take into account all the prices, all the variation of all the companies which are listed in that exchange, I will say that is a population. But if I only take those companies which are listed in a particular index, which is a representative of that population, that is a sample. So next is parameter, sample statistics, learning outcome number B. Learning outcome number C is very important. Calculate and interpret between relative frequencies, because we have to compare two informations, two data, then relative frequencies, and to make it more meaningful, cumulative relative frequencies and a frequency distribution. Because in learning outcome number D, we have to use, learning outcome number D, we have to calculate histogram, and we have to prepare a histogram and a frequency polygon, which we must have prepared in the graduation level. So please write down these learning outcomes. I am giving you time here. Learning outcome A, you have written that. Please write down. Again, I am telling you, please write down, because it will help you in getting an idea that what we want to study in this reading number 8. So first is descriptive, distinguish between descriptive and inferential statistics, population and mean, and types of measurement scales. So these are the three aspects which I will be dealing in today's lecture number 1. And the second is, in the next lecture, we will be discussing with parameter, sample statistics, and frequency distribution. What is the meaning of a frequency distribution? If a data is given to you, then we can have to prepare the tally and all class intervals. Then we can calculate the frequency distribution, because with the help of frequency distribution, we can calculate relative frequency or cumulative relative frequencies, and we can prepare a histogram, or we can prepare a polygon, which are next learning outcomes. So learning outcome number C, calculate and interpret relative frequencies and cumulative relative frequencies given a frequency distribution. Okay. Describe the properties of a data set of histogram and polygon. Learning outcome number E. Now here the fun will start. That is central tendency. Mean. How many types of means are there? Arithmetic mean, weighted mean, geometric mean, harmonic mean. Different types of means we'll be discussing with that. What is the meaning of a median? What is the meaning of a mode? How is the relationship between mean, median and mode? That is in learning outcome number E we'll be discussing with. Learning outcome number F, we will be dividing the data into 4 parts: quartile, percentile, decile, how to do that, we will discuss in learning outcome number F. G, what is the range? If I say I got 70 marks, that is not less than 70, not more than 72 or 71. So there is a range between that. For example, a patient checks their blood pressure or sugar level. So there is a range in that your sugar level should be in between this and this, or this is the average. Now your sugar level should not deviate more from this. That is standard deviation, range, mean deviation. So learning outcome number G, variance, standard deviation of a population and our sample, and quasi inequality. Learning outcome number I, we will be discussing the skewness. That is the slope of that curve. Positive skewed, negative skewed, then kurtosis. How much is the height of that? Coefficient of variation and Sharpe ratio. So these are the learning outcomes which will be giving you enlarged knowledge and the insight that how we can use in real life scenarios with the help of financial calculator. So please write down KL, that is measures of skewness, kurtosis, and the last is how to use arithmetic mean, geometric mean using these investment returns. So let me start with the journey. Please sit straight. Learning outcome number A, I'm going to start with. So today I will be discussing with 3 aspects. One is descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. That what is the difference between descriptive statistics and inferential statistics? Second is, what is the difference between population and sample? Third is, what is the difference between types of measurement scales, or what are the different types of measurement scales? So I will be firstly dealing with descriptive statistics. Whenever information is given to you, whenever a data is given to you, supposedly I am giving you data that this is a class of CFL level 1 examination students. who are coming in classroom coaching as well as in pen drive lectures to me. And supposedly there are 20 students, 30 students, or 50 students, as a case may be. And if I want to find out that in this 50 students, in a batch of 50 students, I want to calculate, what is the average time of study, self-study they are giving, apart from the class. So in that case, I can calculate, the timing given by all these 20 students. I can total them. I can divide it by 20. I can get an idea that this batch is giving 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day as a self-study. So it means I am categorizing it. I am summarizing this whole data into a number that is named as descriptive statistics. So please write in first point, descriptive statistics summarizes the features of a data set. The data set which is given to me, and I am summarizing it. For example, the number of patients who are suffering with cancer, I am summarizing it, that how much are non-vegetarian and how much are vegetarian. I am just categorizing it, summarizing the data, that in the which age they are suffering with cancer. So that can be, I will say that is a descriptive, because a data set is given to me. Similarly, a data is given to me for CFL level 1 examination, which are in actual sitting in front of me. Then I can calculate their timings, and then I can calculate divided by 20, because I have taken the 20 as, 20 students as, the timings, their self-studies timings. And then I will say that is named as descriptive statistics. Okay, when I say descriptive, it means it talks of present tense or of past tense. But when I say inferential, it means it is a probabilistic statistics. On the basis of descriptive, if I am analyzing the future, if I am analyzing, if I am stating something for population. For example, I have calculated that CFL level 1 examination students on an average they are giving 2 hours a day as self-study. So I can also say, no doubt that is for 20 students, but I can say all over the world, all CFL level 1 examination candidates on an average 60 to 70% of the students, they give 2 hours a day as a self-study. So this is a inferential statistics, because I am using the probability and I am using the information, the data, the result of data statistics in stating the population. So if sample information is being used for stating the population, it is named as inferential statistics. So please write on first point, descriptive statistics summarizes the characteristics slash features of a data set. Inferential statistics is used to make probabilistic statements. It is inferential statistics. Inferential statistics is used to make probabilistic statements. Probabilistic about a population based on a sample. So just write down the example. I have prepared an example for you. If Ramlal or if any user or if any analyst wants to find out the average study time of CFL level 1 students, and suppose there are 20 students measuring, there are 20 students who are appearing, there are 20 students who are appearing for coming examination in June and December, and these are the 20 students, and I want to find out that how much is the average study time. So I will be adding this average study time, this. I will be calculating, I will be finding out how much is the time which each and every student gives for self-study. Then I will total it, then I will divide it by 20, then I will be getting a particular figure. Supposedly that is 2 hours a day. So that I have calculated number of students, this 2 hours a day. Then if Ramlal total study time of all the 20 students and then divided by 20, then I will say that after calculation we got that 2 hours a day. Then I will say we are representing, we are calculating the characteristic or the feature of a data set of 20 students who are coming for classroom coaching for CFL level 1 examination. So this is descriptive statistics. But in case average study time of 2 hours a day by CFL level 1 student in a particular class. Now this is a particular class, it is a sample. I have taken the sample of only 20 students. It is not a population, because when I say population, it means all over the world, the number of students who are going for CFL level 1 examination, that is a population. I have calculated a sample of 20 students is used for making. Now, if I use this feature of a sample, that is of a descriptive feature of a sample for population, that is inferential statement, that there is a 60% or 70% chance that all CFA level students throughout the world, that is population, study for 2 hours a day, then it is named as inferential statistics. Very easy. Very easy. There are two types of statistics. One is descriptive statistics, second is inferential statistics. When I say descriptive, it means to find out the feature of a particular sample, and then with the help of that feature of a sample, if we make some statement for a population with a probabilistic remark, then that is inferential. That's all. This is the difference between descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. So learning outcome number A, first point I have discussed, that this is descriptive and this is inferential. Let's see Google Baba, that what is the meaning as per Google Baba about descriptive statistics and inferential. Preparing, organizing and summarizing the data. Preparing, organizing and summarizing the data. Drawing conclusions about a population. Inferential, just see. Drawing conclusions about a population based on a data delivered in a sample, I will say, that is inferential statistics. So statistics can be of two types. One is descriptive statistics, second is inferential. Descriptive is finding out, summarizing the data which is given to me, which is a sample, and then representing towards a population, I will say, that is named as inferential. So they have discussed here also organizing, summarizing, simplifying, and then with the help of this inferential, we can calculate something about population, and that something about population is named as inferential statistics. Hope you are getting the things. So this is inferential and this is descriptive. So let's move to next heading which we want to discuss, that what is the population and what is the sample. Very simple. Just I have taken the example of 20 students, that is a sample. When I take all the CFA students who are doing all CFA level number 1 throughout the world, and then I calculate the timings of all that, and then I will be calculating divided by number of students, that is a population. It means I am covering a population. For example, in an exchange, supposedly there are 12,000 companies which are listed. Supposedly, I'm just taking the example that in Delhi Stock Exchange or Bombay Stock Exchange, 12,000 companies are listed. So I am calculating the average change in the market price. Then, if I am adding all the changes in the market in the market price of all 12,000 companies which are listed in Bombay Stock Exchange, and then calculating the variation, I will say it is a population because I'm taking all 12,000 companies. But if I take only the change or the variation in those 30 companies, that is Sensex, that is Bombay Stock Exchange Sensex. So third point, population includes all members of a specified group, while sample is a subset. When I say sample, it is a subset. This is a population, this is a sample, this is sample, this is population. Population is the bigger than a sample. Sample is a subset of that population which is used to draw. Now, because if we want to purchase a potatoes or onions or vegetables, we do not check all the potatoes in that of a vegetable vendor. We just check 2 or 3 potatoes. It means we check a sample and then we conclude for a population, because we cannot check all the potatoes in that of a vegetable vendor. So we calculate on the basis of sample, that we calculate the inference for the population. So this is population includes all the members of a specified group, while sample is a subset of the population which is used to draw inferences about the population. Please write it down, which is used to draw. Please prepare the class notes along with my lecture. I'm giving you the time. That's why I prepared, I have prepared handwritten slides. I have not given you PPTs. No doubt I have my own PPTs. But what is the fun of PPTs, I want to involve you. So you will be only involved once you write down, then only these things will be coming in your mind, It is very important. This is the writing technique, hand technique, highlighter technique. These are the 2 or 3 techniques if you use in real life. you can get success. So please write it down. Inference about the population. If the movement in the share price of all the listed companies, if of all the companies which are listed in a Bombay Stock Exchange, then if I add the movement of the price in those 12,000 companies, it is a population. Just see, I have just told you that. Please write down the example. And if 30 companies movement, if 30 companies, if I am considering only 30 companies, if I am not considering 12,000 companies, I am just assuming that 12,000 companies are listed in a Bombay Stock Exchange and 30 companies are this, that represent a Sensex, then these 12,000 companies which are listed in this exchange, these 12,000 companies which are listed in exchange, if I take the price of all these companies, then I will say it is a population. But it will involve cost and time. But if I am calculating I am just calculating the representative of that population, a sample, and then concluding for a population. So I will say it is a sample. So for example, Sensex 30, I am only considering the market price change in these 30 companies. That is a sample. So I've just prepared a second example for you. For example, all over the world, this much number of students who are preparing for CFL level 1 examination in coming June and December. And I have taken the example of the 20 students sitting in front of me in India. I will say this is a sample, but all over the world, this all over the world, Africa, London, America, Australia, Netherlands, New Zealand, India, Pakistan, Dubai, all over the world the students are doing. That is a population. So hope you have got the idea. Now I am coming to the last concept of today's lecture. I have discussed what is the meaning of descriptive statistics. I have discussed what is the meaning of inferential statistics. Then I have discussed what is the meaning of a population. Then I have discussed what is the meaning of a sample and what is the difference between these two. Now, in the last point, I want to tell you what are the different types of scales. Scales. It means what are the different scales we use in statistics. For example, if we want to go over buying a potato, that potato will be given by the vegetable vendor to us in kgs. And if I want to buy milk, that milk will be given by that milk vendor in liters. So liter, I will say it is a scale to measure all the liquid items. Kg is a scale to measure all the solid items. Similarly, if I want to go for a purchase of a cloth, for my shirt, that will be given to me in meters. So meter is a scale for measuring the cloth items. Similarly, in statistics, we have 4 types of scales: nominal scale, ordinal scale, ordinal, interval scale, and the fourth is ratio scale. So now, what is the meaning of a scale? Scales mean what you want to categorize. Means you want to categorize your data in such a way. Scale, it means you want to categorize your data in such a way that it will give a meaning to a decision maker, and that decision maker can easily decide that. So that is named as a scale, because without categorizing it, we cannot, that data has no meaning. So just write on 4th point. Scale means you want to categorize your data in such a way that it becomes easier, for an analyst or for a user to take certain decisions. So there are 4 types of scales. One is nominal scale. I am not giving any order. I am just creating categories without any order. Ordinal, I am giving the order also. I am categorizing the data as well as I am giving the order. Interval, it is a better version of ordinal. Ordinal is the better version of nominal. So there are 4 types of scales. We will be discussing with that. Please write on 4th point, my dear friends. Scale. Scale is, when I say scale, it means you want to categorize your data in such a way that it becomes easier for an analyst, for a user to take certain decisions. So 4 types of scales: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So firstly, I am switching to nominal. What is the meaning of a nominal? As the name indicates, nominal. As we have discussed in equity or fixed income, the nominal interest rate, which is equal to real risk-free plus inflation. Nominal. When I say nominal, I am just categorizing it without any order. For example, in a group, in a group of data set, or the data set of different peoples which are given to me, I am categorizing between male and female without any order. I cannot say, I cannot conclude that females are good than, are more intelligent as compared to males. I cannot do that in a nominal scale. I'm just categorizing it in two parts. For example, rocks. I have just given the example of rocks. That I'm just categorizing the rocks into different igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. So these can be different categories of the rocks. I'm just categorizing it. I'm not telling that which is better than that. So first point is, when data is put into different categories without any order. This is an important point. Without any order. But in ordinal scale, that is the next version, we will be categorizing and giving the order also. For example, I will be discussing with that. Firstly, you have written that nominal. So nominal is when people supposedly in the data set we are given the people, we are just categorizing between males and females. No, nothing other than that. That is nominal. But in case of nominal scale is more a qualitative type of, qualitative type of categorization, not a quantitative. Qualitative. So there are four types of scales. One is nominal, second is ordinal, third is interval, fourth is ratio. First is nominal, second is ordinal, third is interval, fourth is ratio. So let me start with the journey. Ordinal scale. When data is put into categories, that can be ordered. When no doubt we are categorizing, in nominal we are categorizing, in ordinal we are categorizing, in interval we are categorizing, in ratio also we are categorizing, but each will have a refined version. Firstly, in the history, if supposedly we have started with nominal, then after that upgrading it, we have come out to this ordinal. Then after upgrading is that we have come out with interval. Then the limitations of interval are also been covered in ratio. So there are four types of scales. So I have told you what is the meaning of nominal scale, that we are not giving order. But in case of ordinal scale, we are categorizing it in such a form and that so that we can give an order also. So when data is put into categories, that can be ordered with respect to some characteristics. For example, I have just given the example that supposingly there is a 20 female data set is there and we are categorizing those 20 female data set into very smart females, gorgeous looking females like Priyanka Chopra, gorgeous looking. Second is I will say smart looking, and the third is ugly type of females. Just I am giving the example, I don't take it otherwise. So I can categorize that. Firstly, I can also order them as, firstly, very smart, gorgeous looking females will stand. Then second is smart looking females will stand, and at the last order will be ugly looking females will be there. So this I am categorizing it with some order. So that is ordinal. When data is put into categories, that can be ordered with respect to some characteristics. If data involves 20 females, then it is categorized as supposedly, and then I'm putting the preference at first order. I can say because I have given the order into that. So very smart, they will stand like this in a sequence. So this is named as ordinal. So please write down. Or next example, if in the data set I am categorizing it as intelligent, moderate, and dumb type of people, it is ordinal, not interval scale. I am giving an interval. Just write down firstly, then I will be explaining that what is the meaning of interval scale. It provides relative ranking with equal differences between scale values. Just write down, I will be telling you. Please write down, my dear friends. Interval scale, it provides relative ranking with equal differences between scale values. 49 degree is more hotter than 32 degrees Celsius. And the difference between 49 degree and 32 degree will be same as 67 degree and 50 degree. So this is interval scale. I will be explaining you interval after discussing with ratio, because with the help of ratio you will better understand that what is the meaning of interval, because in case of interval I am just creating an interval without any base. That does not have a meaning. But in case of ratio, I am giving a base. I am categorizing it with a base. For example, if I say for examination, the average percentage marks, past marks should be at least 50%. So I have given a base that 50% should be the base. Now, I can see that out of 100 students, how many students cleared, and if they are not cleared, then how many they are less than, they are far 10% from the average marks, or they are less than 20% from the average marks, or less than 30% from the average marks, or more than 15% from the average mark. So I can, with the help of a base, with the help of a center, I can, form the different categories, and that will have a more meaning as compared to interval. So there are four scales. One is nominal, second is ordinal, third is interval, and fourth is ratio. Please write out. These scales have a base from where user can compare. So this, the importance point is in ratio that we have a base, but in case of interval we don't have a base. If passing marks are 50% for a particular exam, then on the basis of 50%, a user can calculate number of candidates which were less than 10% from the average marks, less than 20% from the average marks, more than 50% from the average marks. So this is named as a ratio scale. So let me start with the Google Baba. What Google Baba is telling me about types of measurement scales. So how many types of measurement scales are there? Nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So these are the types of scales which are there. Ratio, nominal, different. I have just told you. The first is nominal. Attributes are only named. Attributes can be ordered in ordinal. Interval, distance is meaningful. Absolute zero. It means because we are given the base, so we can find out that. So this is the difference between primary scale, nominal scale, and all that. Hope you are getting the points. And the third point which I have told you is population and a sample. Now population is a big, then sample. When I say population, I am considering all the information, and when I say sample, it is a subset of that, subset of that. So this is a population, and this is a sample. Hope you are getting the points. Because for population, we will be calculating the whatever will be there, that is named as parameter, that is covered in the next learning outcome number B. So in today's lecture, I have discussed 3 points. I am again revising it. Statistics can be of two types. One is descriptive, second is inferential. Then I have discussed what is the meaning of a population, what is the meaning of a sample. And then I have discussed how many types of scales are there. One is nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Ratio has a base, interval does not have a base. Ordinal has an order, and nominal does not have any order. Be happy, be jolly, be cheerful, be happy, be jolly, be cheerful.